Welcome to Matrix Talk after a delay from last time. So, and we're here to talk about multitasking and the Matrix because we read something on multitasking.
Yep.
And not to bury the headline, folks. If you're like 97.5% of the population, and I am included in that 97.5%, you can't multitask. And we're not making it up. It's actual statistic. About 2.5% of the world population, everybody, these people are super taskers, and they can literally take on more than one novel task, not a well-practiced one, novel tasks, and do well at more than one at once. And if you're part of that 2.5%, we're not talking to you.
Yeah.
We're talking to the 97.5%, which, come on, folks, that's pretty well everybody. You can't. What you end up doing is fast switching. That's what the research shows. We're talking brain research there.
What's going on the inside?
Well, what's going on the inside of your prefrontal cortex and such. And if you're trying to multitask, you're simply trying to, you're not trying, you are switching. You look at this, turn it off, look at that, turn that off, look at that, turn it off. And that switching time takes glucose, takes energy.
Burns energy.
So there's research, and they've done lots on this. It's funny, you can be walking, and then the moment that you start to talk, just like somebody with you, your walking deteriorates because you're now multitasking. Now, nobody's saying give up walking and talking with people and stuff, but the research actually shows. So by the way, when you walk and chew gum at the same time, they both hurt. You're not doing either one quite as good as if you were doing individually. So you say, well, why are they talking about multitasking? Well, one is just to add to the chorus of people that are trying to get it across to especially business people, people who run companies and stuff. Don't.
Yeah.
Also, and the person we listened to, who was, literally did lots of research on this. He said multitasking causes, it's not correlational, it causes stress.
Yes.
End of story. So when you're asking people to multitask, you're causing them more stress. So, and if you're asking yourself to multitask, well, you're causing yourself more stress.
Self-induced.
So you're self-induced stress. And obviously we all do it. We have a world where we have crap. I can look there and look to my left and add up 3 computers. That's bad. The other 2 aren't on, so they're good. But nevertheless, it's off. Or I got a phone somewhere around here. That's the biggie, of course, is the phone, of the dopamine hits or whatever hits we get for picking up that phone and checking it. And once you do it, you're multitasking. And anybody who's around you and sees you pick up your phone, well, interpersonally, you just ignored them. So,
yeah.
And they don't care who you're getting a call from.
Not a bit.
Not a bit. Not one iota. So we're learning. We're getting there. So back to it. So that's just the preamble. We don't multitask. We do fast switching.
Right.
And if you try to do the fast switching, performance deteriorates and it stresses you out. That that's it.
Yep.
There's no quibbling about it.
Oh,
Except for the 2.5% who are super multitaskers.
right.
I'm not one. Phil
No,
doesn't claim to be one.
take myself out of that super test.
I'm out of that. I'm not. So therefore, whatever. So what do we also recommend? Well, the lady we were listening to that was talking about this stuff had some interesting notions, which were one, and that one is that you could use the matrix for. So if you don't remember the matrix is lower right hand is who's important to you. You can also add in what's important to
Yeah.
you.
In this case, we'll put down what.
We'll put what, who, and what is important to you in the lower right hand quadrant. Over in the lower left is your yucky stuff like fear, hey, stress, uh, anger, junk like that that doesn't feel good. And so we call it yucky stuff. And the upper part of the matrix is behaviors. And so the upper left quadrant are behaviors that you do to get relief from the yucky stuff. Bill's writing all that in. And in the upper right of the matrix is the stuff you do for, we put satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment is the longer way of saying that. But you know how, you get something done, get your desk cleaned or something, get the laundry done,
Cut your grass.
hey. Yeah, you got the grass cut, all that kind of stuff where, yeah, I got something done, sense of accomplishment, satisfaction. So that's that. Well, that gives you, well, in the middle, we put noticing. So now you can notice all that stuff. You can notice who and what's important to you. You can notice your yucky stuff. You can notice when you're doing relief behaviors. You can notice when you're doing satisfaction, sense of accomplishment behaviors. You can notice all that. Well, guess what? It's that's what the lady said,
Yep.
essentially. She said, have a couple of, and for every day, imagine how you would like to feel at the end of the day. Okay, so when this day ends, how would I like to feel about this day? Turns out that's a valuable thing to do. to look forward to. Why? Well, then you're automatically might do behaviors that lead to feeling the way you want to at the end of the day. Okay. The other is tasks, some task you want to get done, something you would like to get done today. Clean out the garage, or I guess in my case, clean out 1/4 of the garage. But
chip away at the garage.
chip away at it. Might take more than days to do something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, something you'd like, some task things. So notice how we went for a feeling thing, emotional thing, and we went for an actual task. Or I'm going to get the lawn mowed.
Yeah.
That's fun. Most of it's accomplished that in one day. And then and don't go beyond that. Doesn't mean you don't do other stuff. Just in this planning, don't go beyond that. That's enough. Okay. And so now you have this idea of how you would like to feel at the end of the day and what you'd like to accomplish. Yeah, I mean, if you can do two things, fine. I mean, whatever. Yeah.
But that's a bonus.
You got an idea of what you want to do. Obviously, you don't want to load that up too much because you set yourself up for failure. You don't want to do that. So now what do? What did she call it?
Well, she said
meta, right? Meta
awareness. She used the
meta
term
awareness. Right? So you turn on your meta awareness.
Right.
Well, cut to the chase, folks. That's called noticing. Many, many times we have said that's meta. That's the meta. When you step back and look at the big picture,
Step back.
look at that. So that from this meta awareness, you go to do a behavior. This is her. This is the lady talking. But from this meta awareness, I'm going to switch to noticing. You notice yourself about to do a behavior. And she says, and her thing was, well, what's the purpose of the behavior?
She says, do I really need to do this right now? Or why do I need to do this?
Yeah, that kind of thing. So which are fine questions.
Yeah.
We just simplify it. Which is, I'm about to do a behavior. Is it for relief? Am I going to get relief from yucky stuff? Or is it a task behavior where I'm going to end up accomplishing something and getting this sense of satisfaction and accomplishment? And you just notice. Now, here you go. You must suspend right then and go even further meta and don't judge it. It's just the awareness of your actions. And they might say, well, Kevin, what do you mean? I need to judge the action. You won't learn that way.
No.
That's the point. You won't learn. And I mean, certainly in my own life, judging myself doesn't teach me anything.
It gets in the way of doing.
Right. Putting my finger on a hot stove and going, yeah.
Yep. I got that.
That teaches me something. Yep. Right there. So it's like, so the judgment part, the fancy word for it is verbally mediated.
Yeah.
That's the fancy term, meaning you've gone inside your head and you're trying to learn from your own thinking process. And we all misguidedly judge ourselves to try to teach ourselves right from wrong and this and that.
The good thing and the bad thing. And
that doesn't work. It just doesn't work, folks.
No.
It doesn't work. So the reason you suspend it is you go ahead and do the behavior, and here's where those two things come into mind. Do the behaviors lead to you feeling how you wanted to feel at the end of the day? And did you get done what you wanted to get done? Okay. And you're going to notice that at the end of the day. And that's how you do this. So you simply notice, is it for relief? Is it for satisfaction? Go on about whatever. It's just at the end of the day, you'll be able to have a notion at least of, did the behavior work to get me where I wanted to go today? Now, values from an ACT point of view is, of course, these very long term. The easiest way to think of it, what do I want written on my epitaph? Okay. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Question.
Big pause there.
Big pause. But nevertheless, that epitaph is written one day at a time.
The only way you can do it.
That's the only way you can do it. One behavior at a time. And so, it's not so hard if you go meta and you start noticing when you're doing stuff, literally action. You're doing an action for relief, i.e., I'm really stressed out. I'm going to go take a walk.
Yep.
Oh, meta. I'm doing the walk for relief. There you go. Versus I'm going to get off the chair and go cut the grass. Well, what's that for? Accomplishment, right?
Check that box off.
Check that, right. So that's simply it. You're aware of the of your motivation.
Yep.
What's driving your behavior in the moment?
Mm-hmm.
Give you a hint, folks, and it's been given many times on our crowdcast and many others. Most of what you do is relief.
I'm a
our,
big fan of it myself.
our high and mighty,
Mm-hmm.
self thinks, I do most of my actions for the betterment of myself and other people. I'm very noble. Yeah, well, no. Actually, if we walked around and followed you, we would quickly discover that you do most stuff for relief. We do. We're risk avoidant, we're pain avoidant, we're anxiety avoidant, we're
Yep.
fear avoidant. All of that avoidant uh, leads to a lot of, avoidance behaviors.
Got to do them.
We just all do a
Yep.
lot of them, and you can't not do them. Your brain's in charge of that. Your amygdala's in charge of that. So, but you can notice. You can notice when you're doing, especially when you're about to goof off or something.
Yeah.
So that's how this can help with multitasking. So now you're about to multitask. I'm about to try and run two computers
Right.
simultaneously.
Yeah. And keep track of my tech notifications on my phone.
Yeah, and actually, since your phone is a computer now,
Yeah.
we all know. I mean, it's like 100,000 times,
Handheld computer.
100,000 times more powerful than what they went to the moon with in '69. I mean, it's crazy computer. But we're doing it all the time. We have our computer going. We have our phone going, switching back and forth. So when you're doing that, and now you just know both tasks hurt. You're hurting both tasks when you do that. You just are.
Yep.
And so now, what's the purpose of it? What's the purpose of the multitasking? Is it where you're going to get a gain satisfaction, or is it for relief? I don't know, folks. I don't know. Now,
Yeah, that's for you guys to ask, right?
moment to moment noticing, I long ago noticed that I use my phone for relief, and I do somewhat less use it for that now. Don't know if I tried to do that, but I just was noticing that often I picked it up for relief. And this is a classic, when we're us folks who have written master's theses or dissertations know our house is never cleaner when we need to be writing the paper.
Lots of other things get done.
Oh, that squeaky hinge. This is a great time to
Yeah.
oil that
You know
squeaky
what?
hinge.
I need to do my laundry first before. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I better get some laundry done first. Yeah. And then when I'm down there, you know what? Now that I'm down here, that looks like it needs some attention.
So we've all, and I'm sure people of other ilks, it's that you notice yourself doing that stuff. You just do. And so, and that's weird. You just notice yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
Yeah. Well,
and now,
that's what she said during the podcast. She said the same thing. You just bring awareness to it. That's all she does too.
just bring awareness to it.
Yep.
If you want to use those words, bring awareness.
That's the way that she put it.
Just
Yep.
notice. And now it would be time for us to say a whole lot more about that. Why? Because the industry, basically, the talk industry, the writing industry, wants you to write chapters,
Yeah. Volumes.
long things. The Matrix is more like a cartoon.
There it is.
Remember Looney Tunes?
Yeah.
Okay. Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, stuff like that. They didn't run an hour, right?
Uh, it's like a one panel cartoon right here.
And I was like that. And then now that I've taken you there, let's go to the Far Side,
Oh, yeah.
the famous one panel
Yeah.
cartoon. I mean, they were one panel, and he did all of his work brilliantly done in one panel. So the Matrix is simply pretty much just a one panel cartoon of yourself in a way to notice yourself doing stuff. Yeah. There you go. Bringing awareness to yourself.
Cool. Cartoon version of me. Cool.
It's a cartoon version of me. Yeah. And so if you think of it that way, then you'll get more used to doing less verbal analysis of behavior.
Yes.
Phil and I know the learning research on it. It doesn't work. Doing and making mistakes and feeling the pain of the mistake, that works.
That's immediate.
That works really well.
Moment learning.
Yeah. Talking something to death. No.
Nope.
I mean, you might learn how to memorize the 50 states and capitals. And
yeah, it might come in handy when you're playing Jeopardy.
On a test, right?
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with behaviors that end up, I mean, I suppose we could say, well, that would be an accomplishment. I made an A on the test.
Yes.
So I'll study really hard, learn my states.
That'd be your task thing.
And my task is to do those well and make an A on the test. Okay, there you go. That could be part of the thing, but you wouldn't have now planned that out. But it's a cartoon.
Yep.
It's a story, but all cartoons are a story.
Mm-hmm.
Everything goes into the story. And what we're proposing with this, and the lady we listen to, is make each one of your days into a story. And how do you want the story to end up?
What kind of story do I want to tell today?
Right. Well, how do you want that story to land? And do I want to finish off the day feeling really yucky?
Could certainly do that.
You can do that, right? Happy, what, satisfied, maybe. I don't know. However you want to feel. Yeah. But make it into a quick card. And it needs to be that one frame cartoon, like the Far Side. There's other one framers too. That old lady that makes comments.
I know who you mean. Yes.
Yeah. She's a good one framer.
Yeah, right. I forget her. Is it Mabel or something like that?
Mabel or something like that. But the point is these cartoonists who have gotten to where they can put a whole story in one frame.
Yeah.
The Far Side. Now the Far Side, remember the most famous one with the cows are all standing up smoking cigarettes and stuff. And one of the cows says, "There's a car coming." And so when the car's coming, they're all down on all fours, eating grass. And then the next frame is the car is gone and they're all standing up again.
Places everyone.
So it's always I read a thing about that a bit. Larson was always, animals are really smarter than people.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the point of that. They're putting it over on us. So the cows have it over on us. That's Larson. That's why we laugh at it. That's why it's funny. So back to your life is when you draw the matrix, who and what's important to me. And then I use the word draw. Pretty simple drawing, but nevertheless it is. what's my yucky stuff? What kind of behaviors do I do for relief? What kind of stuff do I do for satisfaction? I want to know. I can notice all that by definition. You you got a one frame cartoon of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You go a little step further and say, I want to plan a day. How do you want to feel at the end of the day? What would I like to accomplish in this day? There you go. Be good stuff. And then don't do much more than that. Go do something.
Go about your business.
Go about your business. Have a good time.
Yep.
And notice yourself judging yourself. And notice how judging yourself works for getting to how you want to feel at the end of the day,
mm-hmm.
and how it works for a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And it might be, I had a really bang up good day of judging myself. This was one of my better.
Yeah, I was going for a judging day. I've accomplished my goal.
Now, if you do that kind of stuff, you're sort of doing that reverse psychology on yourself, right? But we all judge ourselves, but for this, not. Yeah, it doesn't work for learning. It doesn't. So there you go. Pretty easy. Sum up. You will multitask.
Yes. You will. It's going to happen.
You will not be good at it.
No.
Unless you're 2.5%.
Even though your mind says that you are.
Now, your mind, all of them, if you go ask people, they'll all lump themselves in the 2.5%. Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I'm a great multitasker. I do it all the time. Okay.
Yeah, well, you're not. Or likely you're not. So that's it. It causes stress. So, but when you're doing something and you go to add in something else, if you can learn to pause, to go meta, to notice and say, well, this thing I'm about to do, is it for relief or for satisfaction? And just realize this thing you're about to do is a multitask. Phil, he says, you were telling me you listen to podcasts when you mow.
Right. A multitask.
Small multitasking.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody says, do you listen to podcasts or music when you drive? A lot of people would say yes.
Absolutely.
There's probably a little bit of deterioration of your driving.
Yep.
But not even close to you touching a screen.
Right.
Don't touch the screen. So what's that mean? If you're going to multitask driving, set it up, start it.
Get your podcast going.
Get the podcast going, then put it in drive and drive. And don't muck with nothing.
Don't mess with the podcast. Don't switch to another podcast, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, don't do that. It really does hurt your attention.
Yeah.
It does. There's no doubt about it. So once again, we're all quite accustomed to, well, for that matter, you're driving along with somebody in the front seat with you or something, and you're talking to them.
Yeah.
We could do the research that showed both of those tasks are slightly
degraded, I guess.
Degraded slightly. And notice I'm saying slightly degraded.
You're not driving off the road.
It's just a little bit. We could do enough. We could put enough situations to show a degradation. Does that mean we're going to stop talking to somebody while we're driving? Of course not.
Probably not.
And it would do away with all the cop shows where they drive. And
talk. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There'd be nothing to film. Just two people listening to a podcast or something like that.
Right. So, we're not trying to say give up multitasking.
No.
Be impossible to do. But notice yourself doing it. And notice, in the end of the day, you'll notice the consequences.
Yeah.
How do I feel?
Yep.
What did I get done? And there you go. That's how you do it. But you can use the matrix. Why? Because it's a cool cartoon.
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
Now that I think about it, I'm going to start calling my own matrices the far side.
That's a good one. The Far Side. Yeah.
My own personal far side. All about the story, folks. Don't ever forget it. It's all about your story.
Yep. You get to tell it.
Yours, the story you're telling about yourself to yourself. That's it. That's the biggie. Anything that you can do to help that story out so that at the end of the day, you feel good about the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sum it up as
this is a cool story I told today.
Today was a told a good story today.
Yeah.
Via my behaviors. There you go. Another way of looking at it. So that's it. We'll be back. Maybe Monday.
Maybe. Yeah. Good chance.
But we'll for sure be back a week from Monday.
Yes.
Because we have a guest.
Special guest coming back. Returning guest.
About the ACT matrix being used in professional sports, which it is. If you hadn't heard anybody listening, it is. So we'll have that on Monday. What the
23rd?
23rd.
23rd.
Well, we may have something
in between then.
In between. We don't know. We'll see what we come up with. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey, have a good one.